Half-Hitch Tackle's Emerald Tales, presented by Sun Harbor Marina. Today on Emerald Tales, Captain Nate and Captain Jamie get to test their new Towee skiff on shallow water winter redfish.
You know, one of the things about the Panhandle or Panama City, which always amazes me, is it's really it's a multi-boat fishery. I mean, hands down. We got
absolutely
a massive creek system, a massive bay system, the Gulf of Mexico. So you really can't do everything with one boat. And I think one of the things that I've seen with you in the wintertime especially, we have extreme low tides, and these fish are pushing back into creeks and to bayous that we've had a tough time accessing in the past. We've had to use our waders and do a lot of walking. And when we met Towee boats, the fact that we had now a truly, truly skinny water skiff opened up our winter fishery this year.
Absolutely. You know, a lot of times we have, you know, especially on a post-front condition when we typically have winds out of the northwest that are blowing, you know, 15 to 20 mile an hour, that blows a lot of our water out. And there's a lot of areas that have deep water backs of some of these areas, but to access those you have to go across sandbars that are sometimes, you know, 30, 40, 50 yards wide and only a matter of a couple inches to get into, and it makes for some challenges to get back there on a boat. Yeah, they're straight ahead of the boat. Half of them, there's another water way over here to the left. Oh, there you go, game on. Game on. God, look at them all. All right.
There we go, Nathan. And this guy doesn't even know he's hooked yet.
Well, they're cold.
Yeah, he's cold.
Hey, look, right in front of the boat, Jamie.
Oh, man.
Got him.
Oh, Nathan's on. Beautiful fish. Tell you what. Come here. Tell you what, man.
Told you, man. This
January and about a foot of water.
I got a pretty one here. All kind of spots on them.
Nothing like wintertime red fishing.
We're up at the head of the bay today. We're just coming off a couple cold fronts, so the water temp's pretty low, and it's got these redfish schooled up on these shallow sand flats.
And check that out. What are you using? A bass bait?
Yeah, this is actually these fish, there's not a lot of bait fish up here, and I found that a lot of these fish that have been up here have been eating these little marsh worms and little worms that are in the sand. So I'm actually using a 5-inch, it's a DOA Cal bass worm, and they have been absolutely crushing it. This is a avocado red glitter, and I mean, they just have not been able to stay off of it.
Nice fish. What
a beautiful, beautiful fish. That's kind of odd. He's all regular on this side, and he's got a bunch of cool spots on that side. But there's a whole bunch of these out here. We're gonna let this guy go and see if we can't ease back up on this school. A couple more. You know, this Towee skiff, it drafts next to nothing. You know, just 3 or 4 inches of water with the motor up, and in addition to that, it's lightweight. It's only a couple 100 pounds. So I mean, even if we had to, we could get out and we can push this boat and have access to some of these areas that were previously kind of out of our reach, especially deeper in the bay where you're dealing with mud bottom and stuff that's soft. I mean, nobody wants to walk 100 yards.
No.
In waders, in knee-deep mud bottom. You know, but we will if the fish are there, and it makes it worth our while for the day once you get in there. But it's definitely a great addition to the fleet.
When we return, more shallow water action. Emerald Tales is brought to you by Towee Boats, guide-tested skiffs. Penn Reel, sets records and wins tournaments. Live Water Sports, what do you live for? Hook and Tackle, performance fishing apparel. Pelican Coolers, bring it.
What really amazed me was that first day we took the Towee out. You never know what you're going to get when you go on a new boat.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't get the sea trial up before we got it, and we had to run down the creek and a pretty good way across the bay in a pretty decent chop.
Yep, and across some open water too.
Yeah.
So, you know, one of the things that when you start getting into these smaller technical skiffs, which Towee is a great one, and it's not a really wide boat. So when you look at it, you think stability might be an issue. You know, especially like the first spot that we fished.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it wasn't really protected. We had, you know, it wasn't a really stiff wind. It was like a 10-mile-an-hour wind out of the north, and the bay had some kind of little rolling waves to it. And you know, but with the design of the boat and the way that the poling platform itself is about as wide as the boat, it was actually getting on top of it and standing there. You know, it wasn't sketchy at all. It was actually really stable. The boat handled very good. It was quiet. You know, we were in a couple of inches of water.
Super quiet, yeah.
And I mean, we floated right on top of, you know, big schools of redfish, and they didn't freak out at all.
No.
I mean, they really didn't even know we were there until we were literally right on top of them. And by then, you know, we'd already had a couple of them hooked up, and we just would let it float. But
I mean, we were floating over schools of redfish.
Oh yeah.
That were just easing out from us. So there's really no hull slap to that boat. That bow design kind of cuts through that chop.
There's more directly in front of the boat coming straight at us.
How far out?
A little more than a full cat. I'm on. Hey, there's more right there, Jamie. Straight in front of you, like 25 feet.
Oh,
there's 4 of them right there. See them?
Yep.
I got a good fish too. That's a good one. Yeah.
Nice one. That school is massive.
That was,
I mean,
and you know, that was, you know, that school from the last time that we caught those last 2 fish, they kind of moved about 60 or 70 yards down, and we didn't rush back up to them or try to close the distance. We kind of got the wind to our back, and we just let the boat, you know, organically kind of creep up there to them, and you know, you throw it out in front of them a little bit, and there again, that's that DOA bass worm, and
yeah,
they can't stand it.
pretty fish. All right, man, let's let him go and try to get back on there.
Let's do it. Go get some more.
There he goes.
We're just gonna work down to the end of this point right here and see if maybe there's a big fish laid up here. And when we get down here to the end, we'll just crank up and run out and around, and we'll come back down there and
See if we can hit him again.
Yep.
Let him give him time to chill out.
Because they're not leaving, but they've been kind of staging around these points when this water starts coming in.
Yeah, look at all of them. Oh man, I'm telling you, Nathan. I mean, that dude was coming right at us. That's amazing. That was a big water redfish. Tell you what, Nathan, it's pretty amazing how stealthy we were able to get up with this Towee.
It's an awesome little rig, you know.
January, Panama City, man.
Hard to beat, man. And you know, that just goes to show the toughness of these fish too. You know, it's in the high 40s right now. We've come off several big cold fronts. You know, it's been in the 20s the last couple of mornings. And it's, you know, these fish are just out here cruising around, eating anything they can find.
Beautiful. See you later, bud.
All these fish have made the crew pretty hungry. Time to head to the hill and chill out at Bayou Joes.
See, I don't even see the trash burger's not even on here.
Basically, it's at the kitchen's discretion to what goes on the burger.
Well, I want to read the description
No,
of it,
I'm
so
telling
I know
you.
what I'm saying.
I just gave you a good synopsis. It's at the if the chef's in a bad mood, it's a lot of bad stuff. If he's in a good mood, not so much.
Oh, look, here we go. Right
Oh
here.
yeah. Oh man, look at that.
Man, you got the sweet potato fries. I'm kind of jealous. And what
Oh,
do
and
we
you got
have?
a you got a
What
lollipop.
do we have here?
You can't even do it justice.
No, I'm gonna need
Oh,
a fork
sure.
and a knife to eat it.
There. Oh God, it's got a graham.
It's got two.
Look, you see-
They're animal cookies.
So you just came off a dang tournament trail this week. You were getting ready for a fish tournament this weekend. So I figured you needed to kind of carb up and
That's it. You
bulk
know,
up on this.
Like, people don't realize how much work, you know, pre-fishing tournaments, and you know,
Right.
it's a long, stressful day of no eating, and what better way than to come over to one of our favorite restaurants, Bayou Joes. You can
That's
pull
right.
up right here on the water, and today I've decided to, you know, I thought about trying this thing for a long time, but I'm not really adventurous when it comes to food, and today I went ahead and ordered this is the trash burger.
Yep. So we got some trigger fish here for a trigger fish sandwich, and you got a burger with cheese, chili, pork rinds, and a Dum Dum lollipop stuck in the top.
And it also
that's
has
animal
a few
crackers.
Animal crackers.
That's for
Stuff-
added
stuff-
textural crunch.
That's right, you know. All right, so
No,
we're
you
gonna
taking
go,
the pork rinds off? Oh man, you gotta do it.
We're gonna eat the pork
Pork rinds
rinds
separate?
on the side. So I'm not really sure how to hold this thing yet. There we go.
Oh Lord, have mercy. That thing is.
Well then, I guess we should have had them bring us some napkins then.
So sight fishing is the name of the game this time of year, and stealth is the most important thing.
Paramount.
Paramount. Tell me a little bit about that area we were fishing. I mean, I love grass flats. I mean, this was the total opposite
Absolutely.
of a grassy area.
You only get clean water up there in the wintertime. During the summertime, we get a lot of rain. It's Florida all the way up, you know, through the southeast gets a lot of rain, so we have a lot of that fresh water coming back through our intercoastal waterways, and that tends to leave those areas at the head of the bay, you know, dirty at best. So sight fishing is really out of the question up there. But this time of year, the water gets really clear. We have these areas that are great wide flats, lots of clean sand, and these redfish will get in giant schools. Oh, he's all over it. He's following. There you go. Perfect. Good job, bro. Good job.
Thanks. Nice when a plan comes together,
That's it, man. I'm telling you. You know, this is such a that's a bigger fish,
That's
too.
a good one.
Yeah, that's the ones we
That
were
was those
targeting.
lone wolves we were looking for.
Yeah. You know, and that's what I was telling you. You know, these fish, when they get up here in these big schools, they're usually slot fish.
You know, the trick, Nathan, this water's cold. The hardest thing I think for a lot of anglers to do is just let the lure do its
That's
thing.
it.
Can't pull it too quick. These fish are not looking to chase down baits right now. Oh, Nathan, it's a pretty good one.
It is a pretty good one.
Yeah, that's better than the...
That ain't nowhere near a slot size.
No. Let's get this guy in. I think he's had...
Yeah, if he's
He's
getting
ready to
us,
go back. What do you say?
That's it. Come here, buddy. Let me get your tail.
Yeah. Whew. Look at that. Right in the corner of the mouth.
Yep, that DOA.
DOA. Well, hold on.
Beautiful, beautiful fish. That's a heavy, healthy fish.
That's a good fish.
Tell you what, the key is finding the mullet.
Yep. You know, these fish, you know, in the wintertime, yeah, it's a little colder water, and, well, he was ready to go. But, you know, you want to hold him as long as you have to. He's off and to the races.
Oh, man, that was a good one.
So, good
Nice.
job, man.
Thanks.
That was a great cast. You put it
Woo.
right on his nose.
Yeah,
and
man.
I think the other key to that spot, especially as you go back and look at some of the drone footage, is that it's a sand flat adjacent to deep water. I mean,
That's right.
the deep water's right there. So those fish can come up on the hill, go back into safety.
That's right.
Especially when
And-
we would bust the school, they'd go over the edge.
That's right.
Half hour later, they've regrouped.
And see, the cool thing about it is, you know, deep water is relative.
Right.
As you get closer to the bass, when we start talking about deeper water, it may transition from 2 foot down to 25 feet in a matter of, you know, a 30-foot stretch of beach. Whereas out there, you know, deep water is 4 or 5 feet deep. As soon as it drops off, now granted, it drops to 4 or 5 feet pretty quick, but then it kind of flattens out, and that's where actually all of those oyster bars are located. Another thing we noticed was when we got up to those schools of fish, the big schools of fish were all upper slot, slightly over slot fish, but they were all in the 6 to 8 or 9 pound range. But another thing that's great about those locations with those oyster bars being there is we get a lot of big fish. And you know, generally they're going to be 1 or 2 fish at a time. Sometimes you'll see groups of 10 or 15, but these will be 15, 20, 25 pound fish that will get up on that flat and cruise down by themselves. So
Singles, yeah.
right. In addition to being able to, you know, to throw at a lot of good schooling size fish, you also get opportunities to throw at like really big fish in a true shallow water scenario, which you don't really get that opportunity, you know, in other parts of the bay.
Emerald Tales is brought to you by Suffix Braid, the longest casting braid on the market. VMC Coastal Black, extreme corrosion resistance. Hobie Polarized, the only choice for active water sportsmen. Williamson Lures, withstand saltwater elements trip after trip.
Bayou Joes is a little mom and pop locals type place that's been around since late 40s, early 50s. Started out originally as Etheridge Marina. I knew it as Dock at JR's, Eat at Joe's, then it became Bayou Joes. And it's been Bayou Joes since I think around 95 or so. Our location, we sit out over Masalina Bayou. So that's one of the unique things when you drive here, that you'll have to walk about 100 yards or so out on a wooden dock to get to the end of the restaurant. So unique thing, you sit at your table and you look out and you see the old Tarpon Dock Bridge over there, one of the last remaining drawbridges in Florida. Those seem to go by way of overpasses and whatnot, so that's kind of a unique thing to hear the cars roll over that and see that bridge going up and boats coming in all the time. So a unique setting. It's a great locals place, but the word is spreading and we're getting more and more people who have found this neat little locals place. And unique thing about Bayou Joes is how you get here. We get a lot of people that come by boat. You can pull up your boat 3/4 of the front of the restaurant, tie off, step off, you're at your table. Drive, you can paddleboard, ride a golf cart from the cove. We have a lot of fun with our menus, from breakfast to garbage potatoes, to lunch and dinner. One of the things that we're known for is our trash burger. And that's something where the cooks get to have a lot of fun and the waitresses have a lot of fun with it. We get newbies that come in and they say, "What's this trash burger all about?" It says cooks can put whatever they want on it. We're like, yeah. And so we start out with our half-pound Joe's hamburger, 3 different types of cheese. We make our own homemade sloppy Joe that goes on top of that. Then you can get anything from fried pork rinds. We put pancakes, French toast, fried pickles, everything. It's crazy. And the more newbie the person is the crazier we like to make that. And it always gets a surprise. And it's really neat when you bring that out and you see people take pictures of it. You know you've done a good job with your trash burger. So.
And I think the key for people when they're going out and trying to do this on their own is that the water's cold. Mm-hmm. The fish are lethargic. They're opportunistic. They're going to eat what's ever in front of them, but you have to slow your presentation down to the point where it's almost uncomfortable.
Right.
You have to get that lure in front of that fish, and the slowest movement will trigger a bite. They're not going to come screaming across the flat to try to hit the top water.
Oh God, look at that trout. Right in front of the boat.
There's a pile of them over here.
Big old trout, Nathan. Bunch of redfish off the bow right here.
There's a stud way up in here. I want that one.
I think this fish is about ready to get in.
That's a nice one too,
that's
man.
A good fish.
That's closer to a good tournament size fish there. Maybe not quite a winner, but.
Hey, there were days where we would take them.
Hey, oh yeah.
We'll take them right now.
That's it. No, we're out here playing around. We take them all sides.
Pretty fish. His tail's lit up. Look at that blue on his tail. Tell you what, man, this is a prime example of wintertime fishing. Towee strong.
Thanks for watching this week's Emerald Tales. For the latest fishing information or to book a guide in Panama City, log on to BayCountyOutdoors.com or check us out on Facebook at Bay County Outdoors.